Where's the video, Walcom 57? Here is the video. Yeah, so this isn't even my blaster, and I'm about to rebuild the entire thing, hopefully for the better. But what even is it? Well, this is a kit for a 3D printed bolt-action magazine-fed Nerf blaster. It was purchased on clearance by my friend Z.
Oh, it bit you bad.
You need to shoot the blaster, Walcom, or Z will have to do it again.
I'm not gonna be nice to it. It's drawn blood.
Has a thirst now.
Yeah, all hands are done. It's gonna get rough.
For the queenly sum of $46 plus shipping, which was like $100. What's weird about this is that Akblastermods, the company that had this kit up for clearance, then put the kit back on for something like $80. Now, I didn't do the original buildup of this blaster. Z did. And she's extremely talented when it comes to foam dart blasters, so I have no qualms about their build quality. That being said, it was pretty garbage. So I do what I usually do when I have a blaster that kind of feels like garbage and lube absolutely every single surface I can. And it was honestly a big, huge improvement until the trigger stopped working. The trigger being probably the worst part about this entire blaster, but with it apart, I can finally show you what makes it tick and why for $46 is a pretty decent little deal, but I don't know if I'd pay much more.
But I hate 3D printed blasters. 3D printed blasters are garbage. They feel bad, they look bad, and they break so easily.
Well, hypothetical viewer, you could just hit the subscribe button. That way, when I upload a Nerf video that isn't on a 3D printed thing, you can complain about that in a new and interesting way. So, as you can see, this is a 3D printed affair. And it is, it's okay print quality, to be perfectly honest. It's not the best. I don't know how well you can see that, but this is visibly sharp from the overhang. The catch release actually has a bearing on it. But otherwise, we got carbon fiber rods. We've got the trigger mechanism right here, which is a big cut carbon fiber plate. And the barrel is slightly larger than the 16mm outer diameter. So most scar muzzles don't fit on the end of it, unfortunately. But this is the plunger tube, and this is a pretty big plunger tube. This is the priming rod and catch. Here's our plunger rod. And the magazines are actually pretty interesting because there's no like fit or anything on. They use magnets. But this is like a 4-round capacity, which fits the bolt action carbine aesthetic. So if you wanted more, this is what you do. It's the same thing, just you affix a magazine to it. Not really all that great, to be perfectly honest. But again, for $46, it's honestly a pretty cool little deal. There is some effort being put into this, and I don't know the designer or anything like that, and I don't even know if it's the designer's fault this thing is not great. I don't even know why the catch stopped working, because it clearly was riding against the part, and the trigger did work. I think it was flexing, and I don't know if anything I do is actually going to fix that. Now, I've gotten Z's permission to do pretty much whatever I want with this thing, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to re-lube the plunger system because they used a very, very thick grease, and it honestly didn't have a very good seal or performance. And I'm just going to see if this happens to fix the problem. So we're going to take a little bit of isopropyl here, and we are going to not accomplish what we're trying to do. And we're going to wipe out all of the old red grease they used in here. So how's your Friday going? I hope this video goes out on Friday because I've been working on it for 3 days and I really don't want to spend any more time on this blaster. But, you know, we got to do what we got to do. So I hope your Friday's going a little bit better, you know. Have any plans for the weekend? See a good movie? Eat a particularly good cheeseburger? Do the same thing to the whole plunger here. Of course, the entire instructions for pretty much everything on this blaster is in a language I don't understand. That being said, they are exceptionally well edited, so bravo. And we're just gonna take some thinner lube here and just coat everything with it. And in my opinion, although I have the worst luck with springers, as you can tell, that is a lot faster than it was before. That other lube felt a little bit sticky.
That's a sticky one. Sticky.
So this is actually the whole priming rod and everything. This spring sits on that. This is some kind of custom cut spring. Looks like K25 or something like that. It's reasonably strong. And then we're going to take this and actually prime the whole system. So now this is a grenade. Fun fact, when I was taking this thing apart, I was holding this piece, thinking this was like a plunger rod, and it was caught all the way through, and I hit that button and almost broke my monitor. So, you know, now it's personal. And now I have to try to remember how exactly this went. So this is also the turnaround, because this thing works similar to a Lynx, if you happen to know that blaster. Basically, the plunger sits all the way at the front, and when you prime it, which the prime is connected to this bar right here, it compresses the spring and then catches the plunger. Then when you push it forward, it pulls the plunger back, and then when you pull the trigger, it releases that plunger all the way forward. It goes through this turnaround, which goes into the barrel, which has the dart sitting in it. So the air is kind of going like this, up here, and then back out. It's actually kind of a cool design. It's simple, but elegant. Lube this up to seal it. Like that. Like that. All right. But my goal right now is to just make sure all this stuff glides smoothly, and the ridge lines that come from the, you know, 3D printing, it's never going to be perfectly smooth, are actually going to cause a lot of problems. I can even see wear on both sides of the bar up here. But I'm not an engineer, nor do I consider myself a very intelligent person. Oh no, you did not just... Oh, you did. And with this, I have basically taken apart every single inch of this blaster. I mean, you pretty much get it, so I'm just gonna jump cut to when this thing actually functions. So the issue here is that the trigger, or the trigger linkage, whatever you want to call it, is super flexible. It's not able to press the catch and release it. So what I'm gonna do, there's a lot of different ways I could go about this. I could add more material to the top of this, I could add material to the bottom of this, or I can edit the track. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this lid from one of the Dart Zone bamboo dart holders and just add this material down underneath this, so it hopefully won't add any friction. Heck, it should actually smooth it out. And that should also stop it from moving so much and hopefully give us a better trigger pull, because the trigger pull and the prime were the two worst offenders of this entire blaster that made it not very fun to use. So if we can fix that just a little bit, it will mean the world to this blaster. Fish this plastic all the way down there. Cut it.
6.5 hours later.
So here's the new problem. I fixed it. I've said this before and I'll say it a million more times. I truly believe nothing great was ever built by a single entity. And with Walcom and Z's powers combined, I have turned what I thought was going to be a very disappointing video into, I still don't know if I'd pay $80-something plus shipping for it, but this thing's so cool now. Barrel's pretty easy to remove. Just undo the screws on each side of that, pull the barrel out. Pick rail up front, just under the handguard. You could use this for a bipod if you wanted, which we may play around with. Like, everything is pretty smooth on this thing. I don't have a whole lot of problems with the actual print quality because it seems to be very high resolution. It's just the overhangs and stuff really need to be cleaned up. I have not cleaned it up, but I probably will. Pick rail right here, can mount optics to that. The magazine situation, it's cool because it feels good. The bolt actually has a magnet on it, so it actually magnetizes that little screw right there, which gives you a little bit of that click feeling when you unlock it. Twist the bolt, pull it back. That primes the blaster. It's already primed, that's why it's moving so much. You can hear that sound. There's not a whole lot you're gonna be able to do with that because this entire thing is 3D printed, but over time, it should wear in and get smoother. And then you've got the stock. You can remove this whole back end of the stock if you want to kind of like obrez it. And the stock does feature an adjustable cheek rest that is completely worthless because if you actually extend this up, the little clamps that are supposed to lock into some sections in here don't work, so it just falls on its face. And the trigger was incredibly terrible. You had to basically get it all the way back, and sometimes it still would not function. Now, it's perfect, and all I did was a tiny piece of plastic in that tray to kind of bump up the carbon rod that had the catch release on it. When I first got this thing, it was awful to prime. I basically had to put it in the middle of my chest and kind of just mortar it. Now, it's super easy. That's what lubing all these surfaces and everything and working this in, because I literally sat there and watched the video while just sliding this bolt back and forth to try to wear it in as much as I can, will do to your blaster, because now it's really good. If you short stroke it, it'll return forward, and you want to make sure that you don't do that. It's a little gummy, but it does work a heck of a lot better than it did before. All right, so first things first, Freddy here is gonna tell us exactly how hard this blaster is hitting. 212 feet per second, 185.8 feet per second, 208 feet per second, 186 feet per second, 180 feet per second. So yeah, velocity-wise, it's hitting pretty good. It's still not the easiest prime ever. If you short stroke it or if you don't have it all the way back, you will run into problems. But in my opinion, it is more than usable, as long as everything is lubed up. Accuracy-wise, I actually used this new Osite S that were sent to me from Osite themselves. It's complete overkill, but I really thank them for sending this out because it has this like rechargeable cover and stuff on it, which has an absurdly long battery life. It's also got ambient light detection, 3 different reticles, shake to wake. I mounted this little guy on this quick detach plate, and it's like my favorite thing ever. But if you do want to pick one up, I'll have an affiliate link down below for you. First things first, using the Adventure Force Pro Darts, I took it up against the physical e-shooter targets and it absolutely just doinked them. And that's what you want a light, handy rifle like this to be doing. With the improved trigger and bolt prime, it was really easy for me to quickly get on target and knock them down. This is most likely not the optimal B-car for this job, but I put it on and it works, and that's the only one I have that will. And moving on to the actual target testing, again with Adventure Force Pro Darts, this time with the extended magazine. 10 shots, 10 darts adds up my score. It was pretty consistently on point. Obviously, there's going to be some variations to my stock because I'm not stabilizing this rifle anything more than standing up and shooting it at the target. But with used Adventure Force Pro Darts, I squeaked out a 90 score, which is pretty darn high. Just for fun, I did another one with Saber T-Darts, and after I've kind of warmed up a little bit, I felt a lot more comfortable in my shots. Heavier darts that are far more consistent in weight added to my accuracy and gave me a 94. This blaster does have iron sights. There's a nice big front blade on here with some kind of fiber optic in there. That being said, green on green, and I think you just use the back of the Picatinny rail as your rear sights, which doesn't really work all that well. It's definitely functional, but it's definitely not my favorite. But with an optic, after breaking this thing in, it shoots like a dream. I honestly don't know how long my fix will hold up and if I'll ever have problems again with it, but the T05 here really did up its grade from about a D, maybe a C minus, up to an A. Bolt actions are fun, especially when they have the real turning bolt right here, and that's what this thing is. Incredibly fun. It still needs a little bit of TLC, but now it is so much better and usable. And that's where this video kind of devolves into I don't know if you should buy one. I do not own this blaster. This still belongs to Z. Would I buy one if it was like 46 bucks with $30 or $40 shipping, $80 total? Yeah, I probably would. Honestly, I've had a lot of fun with this thing. Building the blaster is half the fun of actually owning it. And with this one, yeah, you get to learn everything about the blaster. You know where the problem points are. You know where you can improve it. You can swap out springs, barrels. You could probably get this thing hitting a lot harder or a lot softer than it currently is right now. The bolt does have a lot of wiggle on it, and I think that just comes down to the carbon rods. I really wish those were some kind of metal so it was a lot less flexible. But at about 5 pounds, it's pretty light and snappy, and it just looks freaking cool. $86 that Akblastermods is currently offering. I still think that in itself is probably a worthy price, but that shipping is what's going to get you. This is not a $150 blaster in my opinion. You can rationalize that any way you want. If you have to have it, you can get it, but I'm warning you, it's not as super solid as I would like it to be. But once I got this thing up and running, I have been playing with it non-stop. It's powerful enough, and it is accurate. My biggest problem is reliability. How long will my trigger fix hold up? How long until something goes out on it? It was a complete blaster kit, so getting replacement parts might be a struggle. But if you want a comfy, handy bolt-action blaster, this may be the one. It's far from perfect, but it's definitely got its charms.